Hello everyone, this is Rishab Ostwal. Firstly, thank you so much for all the wishes on all the platforms, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. I've been receiving hundreds of messages. It's not possible for me to reply to each one of you, but really it means a lot and thank you so much. One query which I have been receiving from a lot of students is how did I manage to get 93 in audit, and what was my preparation strategy, and how did I present my answers in exam. So I have been receiving a lot of requests to upload my certified copies. I will be doing so, and also I've decided, since it's not possible for me to reply to each one of you, I've decided to put up a video on YouTube analyzing my certified copies and comparing them with the suggested answers given by ICI. So let us start without wasting any time. So I've got 30 marks in my MCQs. I'll not be analyzing the MCQs here. So in descriptive I have got 61 out of 70 marks, so 61 in descriptive and 30 in MCQs, making it to 91 marks. Then ICI has given me 2 grace marks, totaling it up to 93. Now let us start with the first question. So the first question was on SQC1. So let us see what the question was. The question was the factors that are to be considered for monitoring the quality control engagements. So let us start. Let us see what I have written. First I have given the reference of SQC1, and I have also put a box for the standards name. So what are the factors? One is assigning the responsibility to a partner. Second one is to ensure all developments are reflected. Third one is evaluation of D&I of the quality control system. Fourth one was about complaints, and then actions. So I have underlined all the keywords here, and then finally I have given a conclusion that monitoring may involve ongoing or separate evaluations. Now let us see what ICI has given any suggested answers. So even ICI has first given the reference to the standard SQC1, and then so here it is assigning the responsibility to a partner, and then ensuring the developments are reflected, then DNI of the quality control system, then complaints and actions. So this was a 5-mark question, and I have got 5 marks in this question. Let us go to the question 1b. Now question 1b was from CARO 2020. It was from clause 2b of para 3 regarding the working capital 1. So let us see what the question was. The question was the company had a 4.5 working capital limit and also a LC limit of 2.5 crores, making it up to 7 crores. Now the limit in clause 2b is 5 crores, and hence reporting will be applicable. Let us see what I have written. So here it is. Firstly I have given the reference of CARO. I have said that CARO is an additional reporting requirement under section 143(11) of Companies Act. Then I have also underlined the relevant clause 2b of para 3 of CARO 2020. Now be very careful while writing. You have to write clause 2b of para 3, not clause 2b of CARO 2020. So attention to detail is the key here. Then I have written whatever clause 2b says, and I have given my analysis and conclusion here, saying that the company has been sanctioned 7 crores, which is in excess of the prescribed threshold of 5 crore, and hence auditing reporting is applicable. Let us see what ICI answers are. So ICI ने भी पहले it has given that this as per para 3 2b of CARO 2020. So ICI also has reached the same conclusion that 7 crores is in excess of 5 crores, and hence reporting is applicable. So now let us see what question 1c is. So question 1c is about the preconditions for accepting a review engagement. Now it is very tricky here. The preconditions for accepting a review engagement are exactly same as preconditions for audit. So let us see what I have written. So I have given the reference of SRA 2400, engagements to review HFS, and I have given that these are the preconditions. First the giant precondition, which is acceptability of the AFRF, and then comes the individual points, preparation and fair presentation of financial statements, DNI, DIM of internal controls, then to provide access to information, to provide additional information, unrestricted access to persons. Now let us see what ICI's answers are. So question 1c, when ICI has given reference to SRA 2400, engagement to review HFS. So first one is acceptability of AFRF. It is the giant precondition, and then comes the individual points. Preparation and fair presentation of financial statements. Second one is design, implementation, maintenance of internal controls. Third one is information, then additional information, and then unrestricted access. So let us see how many marks I've got here. So it was a question of 4 marks and I've got 4 marks. So I've got 14 out of 14 marks in the first question. Now let us, so if you guys carefully notice, I have written the question which I am very thorough of, and which I am sure that I'll be scoring the highest marks in such question. So let us see which question I have written next. Next I have written question 5a. So let us jump to question 5a. So question 5 is from essay 550. It is regarding identification of previously unidentified RPTs, which is NIRP, which I commonly say newly identified related parties. Let us see what I have written. So I've given reference of essay 550 are related parties, and then I have said this will be the procedures. The auditor has to communicate within the engagement team. He has to inquire why the entity's internal controls fail to identify the RPTs. Then you have to reconsider the risks. You have to perform more substantive procedures, and if it appears to be intentional, you will evaluate the implications of fraud, which is as per SA 240. And also written few extra points: whether it is appropriately accounted, what is the business rationale, whether the transaction is appropriately authorized or not. Let us see what ICA's answers are. Question 5a. So ICA has also given the reference of SA 550, and then ICI has said timely communication, more substantive procedures, why entities internal controls fail to identify, reassess the risk, and if it is intentional, then evaluate the implications for audit. Now this was a question for 4 marks. This was a question for 5 marks, and I have got 4 marks in this. Now let us go to the next question, 5b. So question 5b is regarding presentation and disclosure of prospective financial information. So it is from SC 3400. What are the factors that are to be considered for making such assessment? A 5-star question. Now let us see what I have written. So I have given the reference of SC 3400, examination of prospective financial information. Now in assessing the P&D, the presentation and disclosure, you have to see these factors: whether it is informative or not misleading, whether the accounting policies appropriately disclose assumptions, whether they are best estimate or hypothetical, whether they are appropriately disclosed or not. Then the date, whether the management has indicated that the date on which PFI is prepared and assumptions are appropriate as of this date. Then the basis for points in the range, whether changes in accounting policy are clearly disclosed. And then let us see what ICI has given. So question 5b, ICI has not given reference to SA 3400, but the points are same. Information is informative and not misleading, whether the accounting policies are clearly disclosed, whether the assumptions are clearly disclosed including clear relevance, whether they are best estimate or hypothetical, then the date as of which the prospective financial information is disclosed, and it must be appropriate as of this date. Then the basis of points in the range, and if there is any change in accounting policy, whether the reason and effect of such change is properly disclosed or not. So I've got 5 marks out of 5 marks in this question. Now let us go to question 5c. So question 5c is from professional ethics. So people generally prepare clauses well here and ignore the introductory part, but ICI has been increasingly asking even questions from the introductory part. So this is a question on PCDC, professional competence and due care. Let us see what the question is. So the question is, as per subsection 113 of revised code of ethics, what are the matters envisaged with respect to PCDC? Let us see what I have written. The matters to be complied by the professional accountant with respect to PCDC is, he needs to have the appropriate knowledge and skill. He must act diligently. He must be aware of the developments that are taking place both in the TPS, the technical professional standards, then continuing professional development, acting diligently, and the accountant has to ensure that the professionals working under him have the appropriate training and supervision. Now let us see the suggested answers. So PCDC, ICS, first you have to have the appropriate knowledge and skill, you have to act diligently, Then you have to be aware of the TPS, technical professional standards, continuing professional development. You have to act thoroughly and on a timely basis, diligently. Then the persons working under him have the appropriate training and supervision. So I've got 3 marks out of the 4 marks in this question. Let us see which question I've written next. So I've written question 6 next. So what is question 6A? So question 6A is on commenting whether the provision that the company has made is appropriate or not. It is from the chapter NBFC. Now let us see what I have written. So first written the provision that this has the appropriate rate for the various standard assets, substandard assets, doubtful and loss assets. Now again I have computed the provision. This is the amount, this is the provision, and this is the provision's amount. Now the provision that has to be created is 6.7 crore, and the company has created provision for standard as nil, which is incorrect. Thus the opinion of CA is valid. Now let us see what ICA has given. Question 6A. So first, even ICA has given the provision, say stating that these are the percentages, 11 percentages of the assets that has to be created as provision. So ICA also computed the provision that 6.7 crores is the provision, whereas the company has created a 5.5 CR provision, which is incorrect, and hence the opinion of CA is correct. Let us see how many marks I've got in this. Question 6A, I've got 5 out of 5 marks. Let us go to question 6B. Okay, so I've lost 3 marks here. I've got 2 out of 5 marks. Let us see why I've lost 3 marks here. Question 6B. Question 6B is a question on what are the matters that you will include in the engagement letter addressed to the management of ATP Limited. Enumerate the key matters that need to be agreed to form a clear understanding regarding AUPs. So it is regarding agreed upon procedures. It is from SRS 4400. Let us see what I have written. So I've written the standard SRS 4400 engagements to perform AUPs, agreed upon procedures. So I've written that the matters that are to be included in the engagement letter is the nature of the engagement, the purpose of the engagement, identification of the financial information, the procedures that are to be performed, then a restriction on distribution and use. So ICI has given me marks only for procedures and distribution and use. Now let us see what ICI has given any suggested answers. Question 6B. First ICI has given the reference of SRS 4400. Okay, यहाँ तक सही था अपना. Then the nature of the engagement, purpose of the engagement, identification of the financial information, limitations on distributions. This part was correct. Then the matters to be included in the engagement letter include a listing of procedures, a statement that the distribution of actual findings would be restricted to specific parties. So if you carefully observe, I've almost written all the points. Nature of the engagement, purpose of the engagement, identification of financial information, limitations on distribution, so restriction on distribution and use, procedures to be performed. So almost her point likha hai, but let us see what went wrong. So I've written nature of the engagement, purpose of the engagement, financial information, procedures that are to be performed, restriction on distribution and use. So I'm not sure why IC has selected marks here, but yeah, that's fine. Let's go to the next question. It is question 6C. Let us see first what the question is. So question 6C is a choice between professional ethics and PSU audit. It is this new question from PSU audit, functions of PSU audit in case of proprietary audit, which I have written regarding the professional ethics. If you get 20% of, so CAF is a CFO of ABC General Insurance Limited. Being in insurance business, the company gets majority of its clients through the agency contracts. CAF has the practice of releasing the commission payments on the condition that it gets 20% of the commission amount from the agent, which is incorrect. Let us see what I have written. So I've given reference to 221, which is as per clause 2 of part 2 of the first schedule, I have said that the member of institute other than a member in practice, which is a member in service, he shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he, being an employee of a company, firm, person, accepts or agrees to accept any part of the FPG, free profits gains from a CA, lawyer, broker engaged by such company, or a person or an agent or a customer of such company by way of commissioner gratification. So I've said that CIF accepted 20% of the commission amount received by the agent is guilty of professional misconduct. Now let us see question 6C how many marks I have got. Question 6C I have got 3 out of 4 marks. So ICI extracted 1 mark. Let us see what is the answers given by ICI. Question 6C. As per clause 2 of part 2 of first schedule of the Chartered Accountants Act, so यहाँ तक अपना correct था. A member of the institute shall be guilty of professional misconduct. So this by way of commission gratification. So this entire part is correct. So they have written, ICI has written that the objective is that the member in employment must maintain highest level of ethics, which is fine. Now CIF is the CFO and he releases the commission payments on the condition that he gets 20% of the commission. Now CIF is guilty of professional misconduct by way of clause 2 of part of first schedule. So I've written the exact same answer, but ICI has rejected 1 mark. Okay, let's go to the next question. Question 3A. Question 3A. This is again a question from professional ethics. This was, I guess, a past exam question. It is from the disciplinary mechanism. So it has a pretty easy question. Comment on the violation of provisions of Chartered Accountants Act and its schedules thereto, before which authority the matters of CA would have been placed. What is the maximum punishment that have been given under the CA Act? CAH has filed an appeal with the appellate authority against the order of and within what time limit can he file an appeal? Okay, so it is a question on disciplinary mechanism. Let us see what I have written. First I have written regarding the violation, where I have said that as per clause 3 of part 2 of second schedule, a member of the institute in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he includes in any IFRS information form return statement submitted to the institute, council or any of its committees, QRB, director discipline, board of discipline, any particulars knowing them to be false. So hence CAH on account of submitting false information shall be guilty of professional misconduct as under 322. So now this matter, hence it is because it is regarding to the second schedule, will be placed before disciplinary committee. So what are the maximum punishment? So disciplinary committee can reprimand the member, remove the name from the register, or impose a fine of up to 5 lakhs, and then appeal can be filed within 90 days. And the appeal's time limit expires on so date. So he has filed an appeal on 5th August, whereas it was expiring on 13th September, and hence he has filed within the prescribed time limit. Now let us see how many marks I have got. Question 3A, I have got 5 out of 5 marks. Let us see what suggestions have been given by ICI. So as per 322, when I have written as per 322 of the Chartered Accountants Act, so knowing them to be false, so he has filed up on 5th August. So CAH will be guilty of professional misconduct under 322. We have reached to the same conclusion. Then second subpart, it will be placed before the disciplinary committee, and then the maximum punishment will be reprimand the member, remove the name of the member, or impose a fine up to 5 lakhs. And the time limit is 90 days, which is time limit has not been lapsed, and hence it is within the time limit. Let us go to the next question. Question 3B. So if you see question 3B, it is regarding it's a question which is not frequently being asked, but it is a question on documentation, I guess. Let's see. MK Electronics Limited is a listed company with 8 subsidiaries spread across various states. The financial statements are audited by CA Amar, the principal auditor, so it is on SA 600. CA Amar relies on the work of other auditors. Okay. you are required to explain the procedures that CAMR will perform. Okay, this is not in documentation. So yeah, it is an important question. Explain the procedures that CAMR will perform to obtain sufficient available audit evidence to ensure that the work is adequate. Okay, an important question. Then explain how we actually document the working purpose. Yeah, this was what I was talking about. It's about the documentation. Explain how will he document the working papers with respect to the subsidiaries audited by other auditors, and what matters need to be documented in the other auditors report as modified. Let us see what I have written. So I have given the reference of SS600. So if you see, I have given reference wherever practically possible. I have given reference of each and every standard, and I have also tried to underline all the important points. So as per SS600, using the work of other auditor, these are all the procedures that you have to perform. He shall evaluate the competence and the objectivity. He shall advise the other auditor regarding the use of his work, the timetable for completion of audit, significant auditing reporting requirements, the need to disclose intercomponent transactions. The principal auditor is normally entitled to rely on the other auditor's work, but he may accept, in case of exception, decide to visit and examine the books of the branch or the component. The principal auditor may discuss a summary of audit procedures. It may be in the form of complete question or a checklist. He shall consider the significant findings. He shall maintain coordination, liaison. He shall the principal auditor shall. So this was the first part of the question. The procedures are to be performed. Now let us see what is the first answer is given by ICI. So the first part was same. Advise our other auditor regarding the use of his work, coordination, the auditing, accounting, reporting requirements. Okay, so ICI has given us 2 points, which is fine. Let us see the next part. The next part is the document regarding what he has documented in his working papers regarding the subsidiaries. So what I have written is, the principal auditor shall include in the following in his documentation: the significant findings of the component auditor, significant judgments made in reaching those conclusions, discussions with other auditors, declarations taken from other auditors, and the component materiality. Further, the documentation shall also include the materiality of the financial information audited by the other auditor. So firstly, what is the component's materiality, and what is the materiality of the information which is audited by the other auditor, which is the total assets, revenue, and cash flows. Now when the other auditor's report is modified, the principal auditor shall evaluate whether the modification is to be included in his report. He shall document the judgments and conclusions in this regard. And let us see what ICI has given. So CAMR should document in his working papers the components whose financial information is audited by the auditors, to document the procedures and the conclusions reached. Now, for example, the auditor would document the results of the discussions with the auditor, review of the written summary of the other auditor's procedures, where the auditor's report is other than unmodified, which means where the other auditor's report is modified. The principal auditor shall also document how he has dealt with those qualifications and adverse remarks in his report. So lagbhag same here. Let us see how many marks ICI has awarded. Question 6C, right? 6B. Question 6B. So I've got 2 out of 5 marks. That's pretty bad. So sorry, it was question 3B. Question 3B, I have got 4 out of 5 marks. Okay, which is fine. Let us go to question 3C. Supplier's ledger fraud. It is from the chapter due diligence. Supplier's ledger fraud. It is from the investigation part. So I've written that recording purchases and in respect of fake invoices, not including the credit notes issued by the supplier, withdrawing the unclaimed credit balances, colluding with the supplier by accepting invoices higher than the market prices. Now what are the this is how the fraud can be done, and then what are the procedures to investigate the fraud. Evaluation of the internal control, obtaining statement of accounts from the supplier, evaluating whether the internal control system is evaluating the internal control system to ensure that there is proper segregation of duties, and reviewing the entries in the stock register in relation to the goods inward register. Okay, now let us see how many marks I have got. Question 3C, I've got 4 out of 4 marks. Let us see the ICI's answer. Question 3C. Now first ICI has given the ways in which the fraud is committed and then the procedures. So fictitious or duplicate invoices in purchases suppressing the credit notes, unclaimed credit balances, purchase invoices at prices higher than the market prices. So यहाँ तक the answer was exactly same. And let us go to the next part. What are the procedures that are to be performed by reference to entries in the goods inward book? This was the last point which we had written. statements from the suppliers, which also we have written in the internal control system. So we have written all the points, and hence we have got 4 out of 4 marks. Let us see the next question. So यहाँ पे additional है question 4A. So question 4A is on the state the introductory language that JPP and associates would use while communicating such matter. So it is regarding has more than 100 showrooms in India, 60 showrooms across the globe during the course of audit. What are the from the matters communicated with TCWG, the auditor statement that was most significant in the audit offense seems to be about key audit matters, which are related to the company's offense of money laundering against the enforcement directorate. Public disclosure of this matter is not precluded. So it is a question on key audit matters from SS 701. So here is the question: what are the considerations of JPP and associates in determining the matters requiring significant audit attention? So यहाँ तक कुछ भी नहीं था. It was just an indication that this question pertains to key audit matters from SS 701. Then here is the actual question: what are the actual considerations that in determining key audit matters, and how should be the introductory language while communicating key audit matters? So let us see what I have written. So as per SS 701, communicating key audit matters in the independent auditor's report, I've defined key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters which in the auditor's professional judgment are of most significance in audit of financial statements of the current period. And what are the considerations? First I have defined the key audit matters, and then I have given what are the considerations. The considerations are areas of higher assessed risk of material misstatement, areas having significant auditor judgment. So higher risk, higher judgment, higher auditor judgment involving higher management judgment, then significant events and transactions. So sub में significant risk, significant judgment, significant events and transactions. And then I've also given few additional considerations like corrected misstatements, which is not relevant here, but let us see what is the introductory language of CAM paragraph. Key audit matters are those matters which, so we have to first write this. We have to write the definition of key audit matters in the introductory language in the audit report. We have to write the key audit matters are those matters which in the auditor's professional judgment are of most significance in the audit of financial statements of current period. Now then we have to define what the actual key audit matters are. The ED has enforced stringent provisions relating to prevention of money laundering related to the company's offense in relation to money laundering. Our opinion, then finally our opinion in respect of is not modified in respect of this matter. Now let us see how many marks we have got. Question 4A, we have got 4 out of 5 marks. Let us see what ICI's answer is. Question 4A. So ICI also given reference to SS 701 communicating key audit matters. ICI has not defined key audit matters. It has directly told that these are the following considerations for the key audit matters: higher RMM, higher judgment, significant events and transactions. So this is a key audit matter which will be communicated in the auditor's report, and this is the introductory language. First, definition of the key audit matters which are the most significant in the audit of financials of current period, and second, the auditor does not provide a separate opinion in this matters. So we have reached the answer exactly same, but we have got question 4A 4 out of 5 marks. Okay, let us move to question 4B. Question 4B is regarding CA Rajani is appointed as statutory auditor of Prestigious Limited for a complete set of financial statements. Okay, CA Rajani is also assigned the audit of PPE. Okay, so this is a famous question. While drafting the audit report of complete set of financial statements, CA Rajani decides to give an adverse opinion based on the audit observations during the course of audit. At the same time, she is also finalizing the audit report of separate engagement where she wants to give an unmodified opinion. Okay. Now comment with reference to relevant standard on auditing regarding the opinion to be given by CA Rajani in the audit report of separate engagement on PPE. So CA Rajani is the statutory auditor for the complete set of financial statements. Now CA Rajani has also got a separate assignment for audit of PPE, which is part of the financial statements. Now let us see. Now she wants to give while drafting the audit report of the complete set of financial statements, CA Rajani decides to give an adverse opinion. So CA Rajani is giving an adverse opinion on the complete set of financial statements, but while finalizing the audit report of this separate engagement, which is audit of PP, she wants to give an unmodified opinion. Whether can she do so? She's giving an adverse opinion on the entire financial statements, but she's giving an unmodified opinion on a particular component, which is PPE. Now, can she do so? Comment with reference to the relevant essay. Now question 4B, SA 805 special considerations audits of SA single financial statements, specific elements, accounts, items of financial statements. So first I have said that the auditor has issued an adverse or disclaimer of opinion, he is prohibited from issuing an unmodified opinion on in the same report. I have written here in the same report, but ICI has deducted the marks. Okay. However, in respect of a single element, he may issue an unmodified opinion if so. If you have given an adverse opinion or disclaimer of opinion on the complete set of financial statements, you are prohibited from giving an unmodified opinion in the same report. But with respect to a single element, you can give us an unmodified opinion provided it is not published together with the main report. So it is not in the same report. If it is not published with the main report, it does not constitute a major portion of the financial statements. And third one is, it is not prohibited by law or regulation. So it reached a conclusion that thus she can issue unmodified opinion on PPE if the aforesaid conditions are fulfilled. Now let us see how many marks. Question 4b, I have got 4 out of 5 marks. Question 4b. So as per SF 805, special considerations, single financial statement, specific element, SCI, EAI, specific elements, accounts, items of financial statement. If the auditor undertakes an engagement to report on a single financial statement, he shall express a separate opinion for each engagement. Okay. If the auditor concludes that it is necessary to express an adverse opinion or disclaim an opinion on a complete set of financial statements as a whole, but in the context of a separate audit of a specific element that is included in those financial statements, the auditor can nevertheless make an unmodified opinion, and these are the conditions. Not prohibited by law or regulation, does not constitute a major portion, not published with the main report. So we have written those 3 conditions correct appropriately, and the conclusion is that C. Rajni can give a separate opinion on the separate engagement. Okay, let us go to the next question. So we have got question 4b. We have got, I guess I say 1 mark. Yeah, 4 out of 5 marks. Let us go to question 4c. Okay, question 4c, an unexpected question in exam. It was regarding the role of auditor regarding the climate related risks. So अगर आप ध्यान से देखोगे the ICA material or any author's material, this question is not highlighted, but I would say this was a C category question, but still this came up in the exam. That's where the importance is, not to leave any question unaddressed. So I had while my preparation, I had studied the entire syllabus and did not leave any chapter in choice. Now let us see what the question was. Role of auditor in audit of financial statements of company, regarding the role of auditor regarding the climate related risks, if I'm not wrong. In developing the understanding of the entity, the auditor should include the consideration of climate related risks and how this risk may be relevant to audit. Many investors are seeking information from the auditor's report about how climate related risks are addressed in audit. So now what is the role of the auditor in considering the climate related risks? So this is the question. This question is from chapter 18, emerging areas, that sustainability ESG wala chapter. Let us see what I have written. Question 4c. First I have given a reference to SA 200. Okay, now why? So the question is regarding role of auditor in considering the climate related risks. So we are getting to the basics. The basic है auditor का objective as per SA 200, which is to say whether the financial statements have mental misstatement, whether it is fraud or error or not. So I have given first auditor का overall objective क्या है. And second, I have said that though this is the overall objective of auditor, many investors and stakeholders are seeking information on how auditor dealt with the climate related risks. Now the auditor has to consider the above requirements of standard. See, even if stakeholders or investors are requiring the auditor to address how he dealt with the climate related risks, but auditor has to stick to the requirements of standard auditing. So first I have told that what is the overall objective of the auditor. Then I have told that many investors and stakeholders are requiring auditors to explain how they dealt with the climate related risks. And third one, we have told that however the auditor has to stick to the requirements of standards and auditing. Now we will come to the actual question. Consideration of climate related risks may warrant inclusion of emphasis of matter paragraph. So this is the key, may warrant inclusion of emphasis of matter paragraph in accordance with this 706 if it is fundamental. So when do we include emphasis of matter paragraph? It is fundamental to the user's understanding of financial statements. Now I have told that the climate related risk can come under SS 706, or It can also come under SS 720. The auditor shall also read other information in accordance with SS 720 to see whether there is any material inconsistency between financial statements and other information. So let us see how many marks we have got. Firstly, question 4C, we have got 4 out of 4 marks. Let us see what ICI's answer is. Question 4C, role of auditor, consideration of climate related risks. So first, even ICI has not given the reference to the standards. The role of the auditor, this is the objective as per SA 200, right? Whether the financial statements are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error. So this was as per SA 200, which we have written the same point. Second one was regarding, we wrote regarding the investors and stakeholders. Now let us see where that point is. Okay, then I told that the auditor shall include the consideration of climate related risks and how this risk may be relevant to audits. The auditor has to stick to the standards on auditing. Now the here, this is the main key of the answer. The auditor in his audit report may include an emphasis of matter paragraph to draw attention to disclosures that are fundamental to users' understanding of financial statements. So this is the key point. Then second one is the auditor shall determine whether the entity has appropriately disclosed climate related risks in the financial statements. Then this is another key point. So one key point was as per SS 706. Second key point was as per SS 720. The auditor should read the other information for consistency with information disclosed in financial statements and information that may be publicly communicated as under SS 720. Auditor's responsibility into other information. So that's it. I guess all the questions are covered. So if you see, I have got in question number 1 I have got 14 out of 14 marks, which I had attempted first. And question number 2 I had not attempted. Question number 3 I have got 13 out of 14 marks. Question 4 I have got 12 out of 14 marks. Question 5 I have got 12 out of 14 marks. And question 6 10 out of 14 marks. This makes it 61 out of 70 and 91 out of 100 plus 2 grace marks, so 93 out of 100. Okay, let us take a thank you so much. Also let me know if this similar analysis is required for other subjects or not. I'll be uploading all the certified copies in the due course. Thank you all. And also let me know if any other videos are to be created for any preparation strategy or any other questions that you guys have. I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.